And now, to the business of the day, I call on our Chair, Stephen Rando, to take over today's meeting and further introduce today's guest speaker.
Thank you, President Phillip. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests, and now awardee guests. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a distinguished guest here today, a tireless advocate for stronger trade and investment ties between Australia and Africa, Mr. Duncan Harris. Duncan has held a deep and enduring interest in Africa's economic potential right from his early days as a former special advisor to the Commonwealth Business Council in London. He's developed strong connections across the Commonwealth, brought them back here, and has worked again consistently and tirelessly to foster productive partnerships between Africa and the wider global community. When Duncan became president of the Australian African Chamber of Commerce in 2018, he brought with him a clear and ambitious vision to position the Chamber as a peak body for business, for trade, and more importantly, engagement with the Australian and African community. His core objective was to make the AACC a vital conduit for trade and investment between our regions. To realise this goal, I found out that Duncan set a very forging and a number of strategic partnerships with major organisations, both government and the private sector. And many of these partnerships with their achievements will be highlighted in today's presentation. In addition to his role in the AACC, Duncan is the founder and executive chairman of the Moswell Group, well known for its corporate advisory work. But he also serves as the director of the Kilmore Investment Group, a privately held company with substantial interests in the forestry sector, real estate and other asset classes. Please, if you can all join me, Rotarian guests, in welcoming Mr. Duncan Harris.
I've been warned by the President that I must speak clearly into this microphone. Now, I'll say in advance that, pardon me, I do not have the advantage of a screen down here to see what's happening behind me, so I'm hoping that with Joe's cooperation, I can coordinate with that. But distinguished Rotarians, but honoured guests and friends, it is an honour to stand here today. The Rotary Club of Melbourne is not only the oldest in Australasia, but also one of the most respected in the world, a living testament to the enduring power of fellowship, service, and ethical leadership. And I have to own up that I was a member of Melbourne South for about 10 years before I moved on to other things. This year's theme, Chambers, Bringing Global Opportunities, resonates deeply with our work with the Australia-Africa Chamber of Commerce. For while chambers are traditionally known for business diplomacy, their true power, Rotary, lies in their purpose and the possibility across borders. At the Chamber, we hold firm but for peace, empowerment, and long-term prosperity. We see this promise clearly in the Australia-Africa relationship. Africa is the world's youngest continent, rich in natural resources, capital, and entrepreneurial energy. And Australia, with its institutional strength, investment expertise, and strong values, is perfect to engage not from a distance, but as a trusted partner. Let me share 4 key initiatives we're undertaking within the Chamber, each reflects Rotary's of service, fellowship, leadership, and global standing, and which directly contribute to building bridges of opportunity. You can see behind me are these succession of slides, which is the absolute place of Africa in the world today. 1 in 5, I just summarised by saying as they page through, 1 in 5 of the world today is an African. By 2050, it'll be 1 in 4. But as the slides are highlighting, the working population, because of the demographic dividend, as they call it, by 2035 will be almost 1 in 2 of the available working population for the world. We should be paying attention. And you'll see, thanks, Joe. So, the first one I'd like to talk about is Elevate Africa Alliance. We've partnered with the Elevate Africa Alliance, which is a groundbreaking ecosystem designed to enable African businesses to contribute meaningfully to solve youth unemployment across the continent in Africa, but for the world. It brings together forward-thinking companies and organisations from education, talent development, recruitment, technology outsourcing, infrastructure, and real estate. United by a shared commitment to an economic inclusion and impact, the Alliance creates a unified, scalable pathway for African youth to access employment opportunities across Africa and the rest of the world. The centrepiece is connecting unemployed tertiary educated African youth with international employers to meet the global skills talent shortages. The Elevate Africa Alliance, by strategically targeting the international remote employment of Africa's tertiary educated population, the program can act as a catalyst for exponential job creation within Africa, particularly in the blue-collar and trade sectors. These indirect job opportunities are pivotal to driving inclusive and sustainable growth across Africa's local economies. The coordinated, scalable effort to bridge the gap between talent and opportunity, equipping young Africans with skills, platforms, mentorship, and infrastructure to thrive in a globally competitive world. The Elevate Africa Alliance encompasses basically 3 strategic streams. Each stream operates within its own mission-critical objectives, dedicated teams, and a clear performance metrics which are fundamentally codependent. The 3 streams are partner-led talent acquisition and verification, talent incubation, assessment, training and career pathways, and thirdly, global and market connection. These elements are made up of, and I'm not sure if it's on the screen as yet, or we've jumped ahead, but anyway, Career Box, which is a social enterprise with a 15-year track record which provides recruitment and work readiness training. Work Nation is Pan-African skills assessment and career development platform and integrates with Career Box to provide skills assessments benchmarked against international frameworks. This ensures an efficient and equitable evaluation process guiding individuals towards suitable career pathways. Then we have the World Employment Confederation and its local chapter, the RCSA, the Recruitment Staffing Association of Australia. The international placement aspect of the program is facilitated through this strategic partnership. And I've got to say to you, I'm not sure if it's up to get on screen, I have to move on, Joe. But what's happening is the recruitment staffing people who are responsible for 70% of the placements across Australia, having a major conference in the Gold Coast this Friday. They have decided they will have all their 12,000 members become members of the Australia-Africa Chamber of Commerce with a view to creating and letting them understand what the opportunities are in Africa, which will be taking place by way of a whole series of regular rollout webinars relating to their particular sectors. Rendeavour. I'm not sure if we've got Rendeavour on the screen, but let me again talk to it. It's Africa's largest urban land development dedicated to building 7 cities across countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Zambia, and the demographic Republic of Congo. And the develops are designed to the challenges of urbanisation by creating sustainable infrastructure and fostering economic growth. And they'll create urban environments that encompass residential, commercial, and industrial properties, and they in turn will become hosts for our many students coming through by way of that very thing. Interestingly enough, I'll just divert here slightly. Some of you may even know of a gentleman named Stephen Jennings. Stephen originally was a merchant banker, for want of a better word, who established Renaissance Bank in Moscow. He became highly successful before Mr. Putin decided he should not have a full share of the profits. He had to fake his death to get out of Moscow. He did manage to get out, though, with substantial funds, and he's decided that he's going to spend that with developing Rendeavour across Africa at his own expense, but now with a whole lot of major international corporations that are involved in that support. It's an amazing thing, and of course, he's providing within that the accommodations, and if you think about the education sectors that are in Dubai and things like, he's actually facilitating all of that at the same time. And then there's Global Careers Africa. They provide the ongoing support to ensure long-term employment success. Its team of career coaches, mentors, and subject matter experts manage the employer-employee relationships, oversee the career development plans, and provide access to training resources. And this wraparound support system, coupled with the Global Careers collaborative workspaces, offers structured work environments and 24/7 support to ensure participants have the necessary tools and resources to thrive in their chosen careers. Rotary has long been in this transformative power of education, and the opportunity to elevate Africa is simply that philosophy in action, giving young people a ladder, not a handout, and giving businesses a bridge to a dynamic emerging workforce. The second one I'd like to talk about is an event that's happening right now here in Melbourne in the next couple of weeks. It's the World International Chamber of Commerce Congress. It's a pivotal event that's to be held here and brings together chambers of commerce from around the world, including Africa, to engage with their Australian counterparts. Held under the ethos, Connectivity for Transformation, the Congress represents a new era of engagement where Africa is no longer seen as a recipient of aid, but as a partner in innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic resilience. At this year's event, registrants can look forward to keynote presentations from global business leaders, panel discussions, interactive workshops, exhibition area showcasing examples of innovations and initiatives by chambers and their partners, both local and global. It is, in fact, a major event. It's otherwise known as the Business Olympics, only held every second year, and Melbourne is hosting it 2nd to the 4th of September. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, still time to enrol should you wish to do so. From sharing best practices and exchanging insights to developing networks, it will be a major piece that people should know about. But the conversations that will happen there reflect the same Rotary ideals, creating lasting change through dialogue, understanding, and shared investment in humanity's future. Our third one is really out of left field, but is quite, and in fact, some of you at Rotary will know about this, because recently we had the First Lady of Zimbabwe here in Melbourne, and you directly assisted in her efforts to secure health equipment to send back to Zimbabwe. It was a major coup and a very full of, let's say, goodwill that associated with it. What has really happened out of all that is that the ambassador of Zimbabwe, who's the Dean of the Africa Corps in Canberra, has approached us, and we've had now quite extensive meetings. Indeed, there is a meeting literally happening with a group of the heads of mission as we speak in Canberra today, which is taking forward this project. It's to bring together a visit from the First Ladies from across Africa to meet with leaders of the Australian health, education and philanthropic sectors, tentatively September next year. The focus will be on empowering Africa's economic future through SME developments. We believe that the First Lady's unique influence, First Ladies, by the way, if I need to clarify it, are the ladies who are either the spouses of the presidents or the presidents themselves of the African nations. They are of consequence. So they'll create important health and education partnerships, assist with women's economic empowerment through microfinance and entrepreneurship training, market access facilitation for women-led businesses, and digital development programs. Cultural exchange programs with expanded Africa Day celebrations, arts, music and culinary diplomacy initiatives, trade and investment facilitation with SME matchmaking and partnerships, and infrastructure development projects, technology and knowledge transfer. These women are leaders in their own right, champions of maternal health, girls' education and gender equity. The forum will serve as a platform to forge cross-continental partnerships and accelerate progress in the very areas that Rotary is so passionately supported, particularly in empowering women and girls. As Rotarians, you understand that true development leaves no one behind, and that we invest in people, we uplift families, communities, and nations. Finally, the AACC Economic Plan for Africa. We've launched our flagship Economic Plan for Africa, which is a primer for Australian investors. Some of you may recall the report India in 2035, developed by the then head of DFAT, Peter Varghese, in 2018. It was all of 516 pages, but the executive summary had a wagon wheel chart in which it showed on a state-by-state basis the business opportunities. We're looking at that. The project offers a long-term, sector-specific investment roadmap for Australian companies, institutions and innovators looking to engage in Africa responsibly and sustainably. It maps strategic opportunities in clean energy, logistics agribusiness, education, fintech, and infrastructure, where Australia can not only offer capital but capacity. Rotary often speaks of building a better world, and this project, like yours, is rooted in creating prosperity with purpose and opportunity with integrity. The ties between the Chambers of Commerce and Rotary are stronger than ever because we're united by a shared belief that opportunity should never be dictated by geography and that bridges are better than walls. Where Rotary builds peace through service, we build prosperity through connection. Where Rotary mentors tomorrow's leaders, we create markets where they can thrive. Where Rotary seeks to transform lives, we seek to scale that transformation through enterprise. So let us not only bridge global opportunities, let us widen the bridge, strengthen the pillars, and ensure that those who walk across it do so with dignity, hope, and confidence in a shared future. On behalf of the Australia-Africa Chamber of Commerce, I thank you for your enduring commitment to humanity, and I welcome the opportunity to walk this bridge together. But I thank you very much.
Always your timing is impeccable. Further questions for what has been presented? Hey. Right.
On behalf of business here in Australia.
Frank was really asking, what are the pathways for engaging with emerging diaspora as much as anything, I think, Frank. Can I just highlight to you that 4 or 5 years ago, Melbourne University established the Blue Nile program. Ted Bailey, whatever, through that exercise. We were directly involved in that establishment of that program because we provided all the mentors. We're not quite sure where it sits today, and I'm in discussion with Melbourne University about how. But there are a number of these things that we strive to do because there is so. You may or may not know there's about 120,000 persons of African origin in Melbourne alone. It is consequential, and we've got to pay attention. And they, as they emerge, I'm looking at this young man here, as they emerge, they're the future, and we've got to help each other to help them. So, in short, Frank, it's not missed.
China. Okay. What? 9 4.
Let me turn that round. You should talk to us about what your manufacturing is to enable us to do what I call business matching. I'll give you a direct example. We've also we've got a whole range of, I'll use the words overtures that are coming from different countries at this time. One of them is Ethiopia. There's a group there called the Ethiopian Bottlers Association. Quite a substantial group of 200 odd manufacturers or participants in it. And they're looking to come here, but they're making the point. They don't want to just have create the relationship. They want to talk about joint ventures and think about the IP that we can transfer to them. And I think there's more than enough scope. Perhaps we should speak.
Yeah.
Bill Paul.
Do you want to come up here, Bill? Yeah, and can I just add to that, if I may? About 2 years ago, I personally invited, sorry, I'll go back. The African Union established the Continental Africa Free Trade Area about 3 or 4 years ago. It in turn then put together the Continental Africa Free Trade Secretariat. I reached out and obtained the Secretary General and his executive team to come out here for a private roadshow. DFAT got in the way, but that's okay. They became part of it. But the short answer is he was really enthusiastic about the very sort of things we're talking about, the cooperation, etc. What was interesting, we call it a business roundtable of about 80 odd people here when it was in Melbourne, to talk about scope and opportunities. It was more interesting still the following day that the Financial Review, he had an interview in which he described that, look out now, Africa is going to be the workshop of the world, and it's happening. So there will be so much opportunity.
Thank you, Duncan, who is a great friend, but a great person with the African Australian Chambers of Commerce. I guess I have a question, but also maybe a comment as well, as somebody who represents Africans diaspora in Australia as well. I think one of the key things that Duncan has done, in addition to the connections with businesses, is really connections with some of the African diaspora who come together here. And I think you did not really mention that, because I think AACC has been one of those platforms. But also in terms of the comments regarding what comes out of Africa, almost everything comes out of Africa. A lot of leather that is called Italian leather is from Africa. All the coffee, most of that what we drink is from Africa. Chocolate is from Africa. And there's a lot of production. And I was opportune with the African Union in Morocco to look at the car manufacturing, where we had 1,300 plus cars manufactured per day in Morocco. So there's a lot coming out. We have a trade mission that is happening on the 15th of September from here to Africa, led through our parliament. And I think Duncan is doing some great work in that space. So Duncan, I just want to say thank you, but there's a lot happening in Africa. And I just think this was you must come again.
Thank you, Mimi. Mimi is also a speaker at the International Congress next week or so look out for her as well. Well, firstly, everything is human-centered, because that comes back to trust. One of the things, no matter where we are in the world, we've got to establish trusted relationships. So whilst there might be balance sheets and things like that which guide people about investments, the truth of the matter is we want to deal with people that we like and it's reciprocated. So I hope I'm sort of answering your question, but I want to underscore for you that it's all about the human relationships. It's not a transaction.
That concludes the question. Duncan, on behalf of Rotary Melbourne and I think Australia, we're going to give you some famous Phil and MC socks in your trade missions to Africa and your statesman-like approach to presenting Australia to Africa. But again, on behalf of Rotary Melbourne, everyone, a round of applause for Duncan Harris again. Thank you again on that update. Watch your step. Well, that concludes today's meeting. So again, thanks to the visitors, guests, and more importantly, to our award-winning guest recipients today. Probably another round of applause for these individuals today. Congratulations again. You are the future. Thank you again to MC, Phil and SB on your reflection, and also Ruth as well, and also the lunch setup and reception teams for their efforts. Again, amazing job. Joe, please, if you can stay back a few minutes to assist with pack up, it would be greatly appreciated. Well, no rest for the wicked. On to next week. A reminder, we're back here again. Our guest speaker will be Peter Shepherd, our district governor, will be speaking on uniting for good and the power of collaboration. So we hope that you can all make it and hear from Peter.